6.1, mid-segments. A mid-segment theorem, parallel to the third side. If a segment joins two triangle sides at their midpoints, then it is parallel to the third side. So, if this segment DE are the midpoints of AB and BC, okay, then that line becomes,
Can I move here for right now, because I cannot see.
then that line becomes parallel to the base, or to that third side of the triangle. So if AB is congruent to BD, and BE is congruent to CE, then AC is parallel to DE. It is called the mid-segment theorem, parallel to the third side. Okay. The next theorem is the mid-segment theorem. Length is half of the third side. Kind of tells you what it is, okay? If a segment joins two triangle sides at their midpoints, then its length is 1/2 of the third side's length. So if AD and BD are congruent, and BE and EC are congruent, then DE is 1/2 of the distance of AC. Or AC is 2 times DE. It can be written either way.
It's called a mid-segment?
Yes, because it's the mid-segment of the
Why
triangle.
is it spelled like that with an E after the S? Oh, wait, never mind.
What?
English class, this is what we call it.
Oh, wait,
The
in the segment, no, in the book, it spelled it different.
Okay. So when you, when you
screenshotted
prove
it,
these,
so-
Maybe I'm just being dumb.
when you prove these, for the rule, could you just put mid-segment theorem? Or would you have to
Well,
do
there's two
length
different
half,
ones. You have to tell me which one.
parallel third side?
Or half the third side. Yep.
I could have sworn that it spelled it different.
You could have, but you're wrong.
Oh, yeah, I was just blind, sorry. Oopsies.
No.
Geometry.
The one class that
This class
I like. Oh, get quiet.
Please stop choking him.
Stop
Do
it.
it.
Thank
What
you.
is that?
Do it.
How'd you even know?
He said it in like a creepy whisper voice. Are we ready to move on?
Oh, Saint Francis.
30 more
I just need
seconds.
to draw the picture.
Okay.
Hang on. Holy Saint Francis. Holy Saint Francis. Holy Saint Francis.
Focus.
I've already taken
I know, but everybody else needs to focus.
Wow, Chloe, you are so cool.
Sorry, this is the only thing that I ever do that's
You got about 15 seconds left.
I've done like Chloe. Cholula.
I'm good.
Okay, so it says prove that DE is parallel to AC, given that AD equals DB and BE equals EC. So what do you need to do first?
SR.
Right.
Make it cross.
No, guys, start with SR, okay?
Oh, I
Start
know
with
what you meant.
Okay, what's your,
line AD equals line DB.
Yes. And line BE without line EC.
Okay. Those are givens.
okay, then what?
DE
I
is
just broke his
congruent
last
to
name
ED
instead.
reflex.
She goes to CHC.
What are,
No, not reflexive, but like that one thing where if
Oh.
AD is equal to DB, then that
it
means
starts with
A,
I?
that means AB.
Line DE
Interdimensional?
is parallel to line AC because of mid-segment theorem.
Line
That's
BE
that.
I wish we
is
were-
congruent to line DE.
yes, line what?
DE is congruent to line DE.
No.
No. DE.
What did,
Line DE is congruent to line AC.
Line D is congruent to line E.
No, I think it should be, okay, wait, can I just, wait. Oh, line BE is, no, hold on.
Line D
Hold your
is 1/2
horses.
line AC.
time out.
Horses must
Full.
be held.
Full, please. Please give me a
Full timeout.
Okay. Listen, I don't know what you're just spouting off here randomly, but you need to think before you speak.
Yeah. My dad.
There
tells me.
are the, okay, listen,
True. Is it both?
there are two triangles there, right? There's one that's DEB, and then there's a triangle that is ACB, yes?
Yes.
Okay, but I don't need to prove that those triangles are anything, because number one, they're not congruent.
Yeah.
That's obvious, you can see that. Okay,
The third one.
and you know that AD and DB are equal, and you know BE and EC are equal, so take a look at what that means on the picture. What does that mean?
There's a
Oh,
triangle.
I know this.
Triangle
Oh.
DBE is a triangle.
I thought I knew it. I think
No,
I know it.
I don't know. What does it mean if AD and DB are equal?
That,
Then A,
Then DB and AD are equal.
No.
DA. Wait, hang on.
Guys.
It is parallel, it is parallel. This
Stop.
DE and AC are parallel.
But we're trying to prove that. You
DE
can't
is
just
perpendicular.
The mid-segment theorem.
stop.
I'm trying.
You just said a key word. What word did you say?
Parallel.
No.
Mid-segment.
Mid-segment.
Mid-segment. But to prove it's a mid-segment, I first must establish what my mid points are.
Ah.
So D is the midpoint of A and B, and
Thank you.
E is the midpoint of C.
Ah.
Oh.
You're just so smart.
That makes a lot of sense. That
This
makes
midpoint-
more sense.
Oh, D is. I thought it said this midpoint.
Ice.
Okay, why are they the midpoints?
Because of I don't know. I'm sorry.
The midpoint formula.
I'm kidding. Because the definition of mid-segment.
That's fine, your definition of a midpoint, that's fine.
Is there anything more?
That's what I meant to say, but I said.
Okay. Now, so we know that they're midpoints, then we know that what?
That is a mid-segment.
That is
Right.
the mid-segment.
So we state what?
Definition of mid-segmented.
No.
No, D
parallel
is
now.
1/2
DE is parallel
to AC.
to AC, but why?
Because of the mid-segment theorem parallel to the third side.
Good.
What?
Great.
I definitely know it, right? Just kidding. My grandma said that my words manifest my actions.
You can do it another way too, but that is a
Was
nice
this at the
way.
women's conference club?
No, it was the ride home, Abby.
Okay, mid-segments. Now, here's
She
why
gave me
this is important.
It's her.
Look at all these triangles we have going on.
Look at all
Oh my Lord.
So, if you connect the mid-segment from D to E, and the mid-segment from E to F, and the mid-segment from F to D, now I've divided that larger triangle into technically 4 triangles, yes?
Oh my Lord.
Okay.
Please say friends.
So I can start to prove things. Like if I know what this, what AF is, I know what FC is, right? And if I know what FC is, and what EC is, I can figure out what EF is. I can figure out all of these things, okay?
Yeah.
Which line segments are parallel in the figure above? So look right here. This is the one we're gonna look at, the one with K and J.
The one not highlighted.
Yes. Which line segments are parallel in the figure above? Is LM and KJ parallel?
L, M, K.
Wait, L?
Yes.
And
Yes.
And
K.
KJ?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Make them
Is
in
LN and KH parallel?
Yes.
No.
No.
K.
No, it's not the third side.
LN is right
DHJ.
here, KH is,
No,
They're
it's
not
not.
parallel.
They're not parallel.
KJ. Okay, I'm sorry.
is NM and JH
Nope.
parallel?
No.
No.
No. Is MN and HK parallel?
Yes.
Yes. You're gonna have to be able to look at stuff and break it apart that way.
Okey-doke.
to show you work
Oh my
Lord.
Until next.
Are we gonna have a lot of
Okay,
proofs in this?
Prove
lesson?
that, yes, we're gonna start doing proofs every
What?
other day.
Is this like the most proof section?
Wow.
Nope, from here on.
I'm going back to listen.
Prove that DE is 1/2 of AC.
Sounds like not do this class.
Can you just like
It's
give
not
like
an
an
option.
And you are given that DE is the mid-segment of triangle ABC, so what do you need to do?
State your
state my givens, right?
Yep.
Okay, now, before you talk about the next part, I need you to think, because they do give you points, even though they're in letters, they give you points.
Do you have to find the midpoint?
So you have to just process this a minute while we write this down, got it?
Okay,
Okay, so think for me, don't just speak, okay?
okay, I'll try.
I'll
Okay.
cry.
So you know that
Same.
DE is the midsegment of ABC. DE.
Is there a picture you can draw for mid-segment, or you have to write it all out?
No, you have to write it all out.
The one thing in geometry that doesn't have a picture.
Now, from there, what do we do? What would you suggest we do from there?
DE is half of CA because of the mid-segment theorem length half.
Can you just say B?
BE is equal to.
That's a lot
BE
of
equals
stuff.
A.
So we can say DE is the,
Listen to what I said.
sorry.
You're going to have to do something with the points they give you.
Oh, okay, okay.
Will B
I know.
equals -2 and -2.
Ooh.
This is one? No. This is.
DE, you wanna prove that DE is 1/2 AC. What does it tell you DE is?
DE is the
No, it tells you it's the mid-segment.
segment of AB.
Which means what?
Midpoint of B and A and B and C, and then we
Good.
do D and E.
So we have to use the midpoint
Goodness, you are so
formula
smart.
to figure out what the midpoints of BC and BA are. Good. So calculate the midpoint of AB. How do you figure out the midpoint of AB?
You do
midpoint
x1 plus xy, right?
plus X.
Over, over 2.
Y1.
Guys, give me what I'm plugging in.
Negative 2
-2M
m
plus 0 over -2N.
So serious, mom.
Right?
I said midpoint. That means you're gonna give me points,
Yeah,
not
Courtney.
distances.
Wait, what?
Midpoint.
Okay.
-2m plus 0 over 2. And -2n plus 0 over 2. You have to give me a midpoint, Courtney.
Oh, I totally forgot.
So
Not
then you
anymore.
cancel the
Ow.
2 though.
So then you get -m, -n, right?
Yes.
So this is the midpoint of AB, okay?
Yes.
Now what do you have to calculate?
B, E, and C.
Point of
Midpoint of BC, okay? What's the midpoint of BC then?
Negative 2 plus 2
Negative 2m
plus 2Q.
plus -2q over
2,
and -2n plus
0.
over 2, which gives you -m minus q, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you -n, correct? Okay, so now you have that information, yes?
Yep.
What do you do from there?
Plug 7.
No.
Maybe?
For what? Plug it into what?
N's and Q's.
Into what?
E
And the N's.
equals
M will be 1, Q will be 2.
Yeah.
Look at what we're trying to prove. What are you trying to prove?
That DE is half of AC.
So what do you need to know about DE?
That it is the
That it is.
mid-segment.
No, what C is?
Sorry,
Half.
You need to know
what
what,
CA is.
and you need to know what,
Half of
DE
DE
is.
what DE is. Like, I need to know their distance.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
take the midpoints and find the distance.
You use the distance,
Formula.
or you take the midpoints and use the absolute value to find the difference between them. Because that's what the distance
I know what that
formula-
means.
Oh, wait,
I'm wrong.
So you want to calculate
numbers.
distance, right,
Yes.
of ED first? Doesn't matter. So the distance of ED, okay? ED deals with the midpoint of BC and the midpoint of AB, right? That line is what? Is it horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
So what points would you be using?
Negative N.
Negative M minus Q and negative M? If something is horizontal, to use the x or y
Oh,
values.
so you'd use negative m and negative m minus q.
Yes, so I would figure out the absolute value of negative m plus negative m minus q, yes?
Just be
Definitely.
2m.
Well,
Smalls, right?
I'm thinking this, you're gonna.
That's fine. These are half a calorie.
No, because this should be,
Like how, like,
this should be minus this.
It's all absolute
So-
value.
Absolute value of negative m minus negative m, these cancel, yes?
Aw.
And
So it's
negative,
just q.
so it's just q. So the distance is q, yes?
So the distance.
So then we have to find the distance of
Oh, C and A.
AC, right?
Yeah.
Or CA, whatever. And the distance of CA would be, no, the distance of CA, again, we need to look at C and A. What are C and A right now?
Horizontal.
Right, so what points am I using?
2q and 0 and 0.
Negative 2q.
So negative 2q minus 0, which gives you what?
2q.
2q. Okay?
Wow.
How?
Now, you can state DE, right, equals 1/2 of AC, correct?
Wait, so why do we have to use the absolute value thing to find the distance?
Because you're only finding
So it's
the
only-
x, not
Because you're
the
only
y.
finding the x, not the y, so you don't have to use the whole distance formula, it'd take too long. What?
So you're telling me that all this time when we had to do the distance formula, you were just taking the absolute value?
No, you can only use the absolute value of something if it is perfectly even. Like, if it is perfectly vertical or perfectly horizontal, then you just use the x or y's and you take the absolute value. If it is a slant, you cannot do that, you have to use the distance formula, the whole thing. Okay. So then you get D equals 1/2 of AC, right? And that's just because we proved it, substitution, any of those, you can, your reason can be several different things there, okay? But you're going to have to think outside the box a little bit on some of this stuff. And you're gonna have to start doing lots of algebra with your geometry.
Oh my lord, no thank you.
Oh, Lord.
I don't mind.
Only St. Francis.
Okay,
Oh,
another,
thank goodness.
another mid-segment theorem. Which of the following are true statements? Select all that apply.
Yes, ma'am.
The length of MN is 1/2 that of BC.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, MB equals AM.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
AN equals AM.
9.
No. Okay? MN equal and BC are parallel. Look.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct? MB equals NC.
Yes.
No.
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 9.
Okay.
No.
AT is a mid-segment of a triangle and parallel to the side FE, which has the endpoints 4, 3, and 4, -5. What pair of coordinates are possible endpoints of AD? We're gonna have to do some backwards math here. I would suggest we graph this.
No.
I would suggest you actually draw this out.
You is sweet.
Margo, what? Fit over there.
What, spit? Why would we spit? Oh, never mind.
Okay, AD is a mid-segment of a triangle and parallel to the side FE, which has the endpoints 4, 3, and 4, -5. So do 4, 3, and do 4, -5.
These are Altoid smalls, just like Margo.
Doesn't Margo look like Arthur from PBS?
She's a cute
Okay,
Arthur.
can you guys focus for,
Arthur
you know,
could never.
4 minutes?
Sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
That's a lot, maybe.
So you have those 2 points, right? Okay, and we know that those are F and E. And it wants to know what pair of coordinates are possible endpoints of AD. We know that AD is a mid-segment, yes, of a triangle and parallel to the side FE. If it is parallel to the side FE, what does that mean?
It's vertical like that.
Connect those dots for me. It means that it's what compared to that line?
It's vertical thing.
Great, but what is it compared to that line besides vertical?
Parallel. It's on the Y. It's
Beautiful, it's parallel and vertical. What else
parallel
besides
to
that?
the X-axis.
No, stop. Think for
I
me,
mean, why?
please, think.
What's the question?
You've learned 2 rules today. One tells us what they just stated, that it is parallel to FE. The other tells us
Oh, it's
what?
half.
It's
Thank
half
you,
of
Abby.
it,
That
yeah.
it's half of it.
Good
Now,
job, Abby.
it wants to know, what are the possible coordinates for this? And it gives us options, okay? So Margot, 0, 3, and 4, -5. Mark those for me. 0, 3, 4, -5. You are going to have to work this out. Is that possible in
No,
points?
ma'am.
No.
Go.
No.
2, 1. And 2, -3.
Yes.
Does that look like it would be half? You can even
Yes,
count on the grid.
It is.
Okay, good. Now here's the deal. There could be possibly more than one answer. Because where else could that line be?
On the other side.
On the other side.
Everywhere.
So is -2, 3 and -2, 5 a possibility? -2, 3.
No.
Why would you do that?
Jesus.
Just kidding, Margaret.
With God, all things are possible.
Negative
Correct.
2.
Forgot.
Good, that's fine. We know that one's right. We know B's right. C, -2, 3, -2, -2, Margo.
Negative.
Neg.
And -2, 5.
-5.
Oh, -5, sorry.
-5, like.
It's my fault. Could that be a possibility?
That's a
You
square.
guys do cocaine.
So is that a possibility?
No, it is not because.
No, because it's
They're
parallel
lengths.
to it, but it is not.
This is half, it is the same.
Good, Abby.
Distance.
Now, part D says -2, 0. -2, 0.
That's not it.
The alpha.
And -2, -2.
No. That is a 4.
Is that half the distance?
Correct.
That's
no.
half of the half.
It's half of the half, so no. But what would another set of points be that we could use? On the other side?
On the other side.
4. Wait.
1, 7.
4, 6.
1, 7?
Six,
No, it's
6,
on the
1,
other
and
side.
6,
6,
negative
1,
3.
and 6, -3.
Okay, good. 6, 1, 6, -3, okay? You might have to do this on your own, on the homework, like come up with 4 or 5 different points that could be
So we should have graph
possibilities.
paper handy.
You're gonna need to sketch things out. Okay, good. Thank you, Margo. I'm just gonna throw
All
that in.
That's great.
That is what you are
Thank
working
you.
on tonight on your homework.
Ooh,
Those 2 things with mid segments, parallel and half the distance.